Welcome. Today we'll be discussing about the GS3 topics of mains. In this initiative, I'll be explaining every topic that is covered in the UPSC syllabus for the mains examination. In the only we'll be discussing the topics and subtopics in the perspectives of mains. So here I'll start with the GS3 paper, GS3 topic and paper 4 of UPSC mains. Here I have numbered bit, every topic. I have given a number, I have assigned a number to every topic. For example, in the Indian economy, I have given 81 issues related to planning. I have given 82 mobilization of resources, 83 growth, 84 development, 85. In this examination perspective, we'll be dealing the topics, subtopics, subtopics, and this notes I have made, and it is from the different resources like ChatGPT, PW only's notes, and also from the topper copies and my class notes. I have compiled everything and written in this notes. So now I'll be explaining. So this is not the main aim of this initiative is to improve my teaching skills and improving my clarity on this particular subject, and also to be consistent for this exam. Um, so so the basically I have given numbering for every topic uh, of entire syllabus, and I have written notes for every topic. So in this coming 4 5 months, I'll explain all the mains topics and subtopics, subtopics every day. Every day, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 topics uh, based on the requirement, and also the length of the particular topic. So now we'll be doing with the 82, 83, and 84 topic. So firstly, we'll see the questions, the mains questions that have been asked, so that we'll be understanding the broad point that how we must make our notes. So basically, in writing economy answers, there are certain keywords like you might include the GDP numbers, maybe the initiatives, certain schemes, and also the framework, etc., etc. So those keywords also will be including in this, and I have made my notes in a format that it explains every keyword of the topic from of the syllabus, and also the required keywords for that topic. So here today we'll be dealing with the first three topic, I mean the keywords. So we'll be seeing the previous year's questions from the topic. So this economic growth is the next topic. GDP is the next topic. V-shaped recovery is the next topic. Potential GDP is next topic. So here they're asking about the defined things. So we'll be focusing on a particular keyword. So here our first topic is issues related to planning and mobilization of resources. So here we'll be discussing these topics like what is resource mobilization, why it is needed, what is its necessity, from where we'll accumulate those resources, what is the role of physical policy of government of India, and also the resource transfers from the state to center, center to state, and vice versa, and what are the challenges in India that's been there in the mobilization of resources, and a few government initiatives and challenges, and what can be done to improve this resource mobilization. So, firstly, uh, what is a resource? Resource comes from the word source. Source means it have something value, and you will be doing something with it. So, a resource is something like it has a certain value, and also you use that resource for achieving some objective. So resource will give you the utility, and resource is always, it is limited availability is there, and also it has potential for depletion. For example, any mineral is a, for example, you think of mineral resources, so it has certain utility. For example, coal is used in making electricity, and the coal is available very limitedly, so that is there. And it has high potential for a depletion because it's a resource. Resources will give you the money, the power, and whatever the things for for achieving certain objective. So that is all about resource. What is mobilization? Mobilization, so ization, from when you see from the keyword perspective, ization is a process. So mobile comes from the word mobility. Mobility means which have movement means, uh, so in resource mobilization, mobilization means, as we know that azation means process, crystallization, mobilization, uh, digitalization. So it's a, if zation is there, then it is a process. So how you will define this mobilization? It's a basically a process. It involves the gathering and arranging different elements for maybe immediate use, or to attain a collective objective. In that way, we can define. So, what is resource mobilization? So, it's a process. Obviously, process means it is systematic process, and it is used for developing, implementing, and sustaining efforts to achieve national goals, especially the national goals. For example, human resources are there. It's a resource. So how you will mobilize? Mobilize means you will give him certain skills, certain knowledge, certain capacity, and you will expand it. And and if we can utilize the resources at right time, at right price, at right resources, then India will be obviously become great. So in that way, resource mobilization, it's important. So why it is important? The necessity of resource mobilization is, uh, for example, uh, if you have resources, suppose if you have certain critical minerals, then you will, the dependency on other countries will reduce. Suppose India possesses oils. If India possesses high oils, then it will reduce its dependence on other countries. So it will give the national security thing. So that is one point. Other point is, if resources are like properly mobilized, then it will impart the stability of an organization. For example, the lower level grassroots, like panchayats. Take an example of panchayats. If you take an example of panchayat, if the resources comes properly from the government to the panchayat, then the organization will be stable. It will be sustainable. It will be able to provide the basic necessities to the rural population. So all these things will happen. And next, it will, if resources are properly mobilized, then there will be good service provision. We can able to monitor it well. And if resource mobilization is there, then we can diversify the things. We can expand the economy into various sectors to perform well. And also we can improve the agriculture, manufacturing, technology related thing. And also it enhances the efficiency, right? And also, you look on this, like if you can nicely, the basic necessity of resource mobilization is, it will, for the economic growth will be doing, and it will help in poverty alleviation, and to achieve sustainable development goals. So, and also it will give, if the resources are mobilized properly, then the social, we can achieve the social security. It will help in achieving the sustainable development goals in a very good time. In a short term, we can achieve sustainable development goals if resources are mobilized properly. And also it will improve the efficiency of the system. Thus we can provide the, we can assure, we can do the assurance of the justice. So all these things, and the unemployment thing, the poverty, everything will eventually reduce if we reduce it. So that's the main thing. Second, what is the need for mobilization means? So, what is the need for India to do this mobilization, especially the HR, I mean human resources? What is its need? What is the need of human resources for India? Because we have India is having high demographic dividend, so we have high youth. Like average age of the India is 27 years, I think, just like confirm, and so it will uh, it leads to empowerment, it leads to skill development, and if skill development is there, then employment will increase, unemployment will decrease. So because of that, it will increase the economic growth, and if everybody have a job, then the poverty levels eventually decrease, and that the human resources, if we can able to utilize well, then there is a room for innovation and creation. So there will be startup culture. If there is culture, then there will be efficiency. We can afford the goods at cheap price because more companies are producing that, and it can also adapt unexpected challenges. For example, what is the need for mobilization of HR? For example, there are different companies now: Geo, Airtel, BSNL, Idea, etc. So, if there is no proper mobilization of human resources, then it will compromise the ability of the people. So if many people are there, if the human resources are utilized well, then we can address the unexpected changes. For example, in COVID time, there are vaccine companies like Bharat and other vaccine companies. There are private companies, but although when challenges have come, they have created certain things to combat the COVID pandemic. And also, uh, the human resources, what's the need is like for the success of the economy, and also it will uh, increase the financial viability for research and development, for production, for marketing activities. Thus, everybody will be having some money, so that everybody will be happy at the end of the day if this things happens well. So for that, like educational developments and all those things we need to do. And because when human resources are utilized properly, then it will speed up the governance system, and there will be minimal wastages. So if we can achieve minimal wastages, then we can improve the profits of the organization. And also, if everybody is doing job, and everybody, if not like not everybody means not everybody, but if the people of India is able to manage, if human resources are managed well, then the informal sector will be eventually transformed into the formal sector. And thus, we can improve the tax base. Tax base widening will happen. Thus, it will increase the revenue collection. So overall, if revenue collection have if it is improved, then we can spend that money for developmental activities. So that is for need for mobilization of human resources. Next, like the resources, whatever there, from where it is coming. So that is the next subtopic under the resource mobilization. One is tax revenue, like income tax, GST, and non-tax revenue like bonds, dividends, shares, fees, prices, etc. And there are capital receipts uh, and disinvestments also, like government will be spending as will be disinvesting, selling some properties of the government, and from them also the government will be accumulating some resources, and from PSUs, public sector undertakings, and all these things will be the sources of financial resource, means rupees generated from them. Okay. In capital receipts, there are like market loans, short-term borrowings, commercial borrowings, uh, if India don't have money, then it will take loan from IMF, and other countries also gives loans to India. So all these things will generate the money for spending. I mean, for public spending. So, in this perspective, we have to look on the different states and what is the public expenditure, capital expenditure of the government. So that will be covered in the budget and economic survey things. Now, we'll not be touching the numbers. Okay. So, and there is a monetary policy and policy, which will be reading in brilliance perspective for economy. So, what is the need of fiscal policy in resource mobilization is the fiscal policy of government. So, it will generate revenue, okay, and also that will aid in the capital formation. It will aid in public expenditure, so we can manage the debt of the government by issuing internal and external loans, issuing bonds by RBI, etc., and also public investments. And if public investments are there, then it will influence the fiscal policy also, because the companies will look on whether the government is supportive government, whether the government is stable, whether the government is giving any incentives or any tax reimbursements or those things. The companies will check and they will invest in the state or central level or to accumulate place. So how much supportive is the government? They will check. So that is public investments, and also the fiscal policy will control the inflation. The uh, the government of India, uh, revenue department, they'll take care of the inflation control with by collaborating. I mean, the both RBI and the finance ministry have the control over the inflation. They will target the inflation, that is called as inflation targeting. So that is for a macroeconomic stability. So macroeconomic stability for that. So next is role of tax in resource mobilization. So in this perspective, there is like, as you know, that the tax will the government will collect the tax and it will spend in other schemes or its expenditure to run its offices, to lay the roads for infrastructure, etc., etc. So what is the role is like government is doing progressive taxation. So in that it is like to reduce, it will eventually reduce income inequalities, and also the taxation is very crucial for rising collective saving. And also Indian tax is structured like center, state, local bodies. So that tax distribution is there, and also uh, the tax. What is the need of taxes for revenue generation? It will improve in redistribution of wealth, like how progressive taxation, regressive taxation. The people who have high money should pay high tax, and so that the like redistribution of wealth happens. And when tax is adjusted, it will control the inflation. So it will the tax that we pay, it will go in infrastructure development, in investments, promotions, and also like for example, the tax, because of the tax will encourage sustainable development practices like environment tax, carbon tax, uh, some other things. So, and next, like, what is the role of capital financial markets in process? So, as you know, that the financial markets will help. How it will help is um, it will facilitate investments. For example, the maybe the banks or the SEBI or that. So capital expenditure in terms of bonds, and so the thing is the liquidity, the resources will be accumulated in loans, in bonds, etc. Next one is it will channelize savings into investments. Whatever the savings that we are doing, that the people are doing, they will be depositing in the bank, and that bank will be giving uh, loans to the certain companies, and that companies will invest in the infrastructure projects. Or uh, so there are many ways that to do that. One is mutual funds, bonds, equity, savings, etc. And also the government funds eventually they'll turn into investments. So that is there. And also the fourth point is it foreign investments. Encourages foreign investments also. Why? Yes, there are certain resources, and the money is transferring from one institution to other institution, from one pocket to other pocket. In that way, like the investors in a foreign, they will also think that if we invest in India, if the returns are more, then they will invest in more. So the capital and financial markets will help in certain aspects. And also they will provide some the financial markets. They will provide some resistance against the like inflation or whatever by bonds and debentures, etc. So insurance they will be providing. And also because people will be working in the financial markets through the so it will lead to the job creation. And also if you want to invest in if you want to build a company, then the financial through the financial and capital markets you will get the money through the loans and through the investments. So the access of the capital in the economy will increase. It will lead to job creation, etc. So these are all the just like the keywords. uh, Keywords you need to do: capital markets, providing risk management, foreign investments will be increasing. So the government bonds will like it will do investments, and equity mutual funds. These are all keywords that like what is its uses. Just like close your eyes and just write it. Uh, Stock exchanges. Because in the investor category there are like angel investors, venture capitalists. Uh, these all angel investors, venture capitalists will be reading in the brilliance perspective for the economy. So and also there is GST, banking and insurance things will be there. So next topic is like mobilization of resources. How the resources are transferred from the center to state. Uh, so uh, there is finance commission, 15th finance commission. It states that 41% of the revenue by center it should be transferred to the state. Like principles regarding it will direct the principles regarding the sharing and pooling of taxes. And also there is a GST council. And also the restructuring central sponsor scheme. uh, and the 14th finance commission states that according to the states it should do that. And article 275 of Indian constitution, it grants the statutory grants to states, especially to the states having lower per capita income, like northeast states. And so here, what are the states that have lower per capita income? Just like look on the graph. That graph I thought of keeping here, but I could not. From next topic we can do. Uh, and also elimination of production taxes. So Niti Aayog also says that we should focus more on making people economically independent rather than perpetually dependent. Like Niti Aayog says that we should not make people to be perpetually, means ever every time depending on the government for money. We should make them like economically independent, and the government is doing through issuing of MSMEs through various schemes. So rationalization of the scheme should also be done. uh, so that is there. And also There is a special status states like Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, not Rajasthan, Gujarat, I think. Like the states which have special status states, that also just look on that. Just search on Google for this matter for the special status states. Just now, just a second, I will special status states in India. So, so there are many states: Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Manipur, Meghalaya. So we'll see one what is the criteria for that. So criteria is important. So we'll see the state that is struggling with the resource shortage, the low income per capita, state finances are not viable, economic and structural underdevelopment, existence of sizable tribe, hilly and challenging terrain if it's there, and border regions that are strategically located and sparsely populated area if it is there. So these are the criteria for the states to be specially thing. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Just pause the video and just think of it. Think of this state. So first is resource shortage. Second is if the state is having low per capita income, the people are earning very less, and state finances are not viable. I mean, unstable economy. And if there is structural underdevelopment, means due to the structural issues in the maybe the governance, maybe the patterns, maybe the people, I mean the sectors, existence of the tribes, maybe the sizable tribes based on the population of the tribes, and the hilly and challenging terrain. If suppose the hills and if the terrain is not good, then we can't lay the proper roads, proper bridges, proper infrastructure will not be there, and that will hamper the development. So because of that, special category states will be there, and border regions that are strategically located. Strategically located means it is very if it is very important for the nations. For example, in the northeast, like Manipur and many states, it is like strategically important states uh, because it's bordering with the other countries and also population should be there. So that is why like Assam, Nagaland, Himachal Pradesh, Manipur, Meghalaya, Sikkim, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram are among invested with special category status. Telangana is being given because it's a new state, so that's what. So there are certain benefits of having a special category status. Let's pause the video and just read it. Okay. So next, what are the challenges in resource mobilization that we need to cover? So, to channel to to mobilize the resources at one place or to distribute the resources, there are certain problems. What are those problems? First one, there is a vertical imbalance and horizontal imbalance, uh, like the distribution between the center and state, and also between the states. That is one problem. Second one, uh, the fiscal responsibility and budget management mandate. The center is constantly failing in doing this FRBM mandate because the revenue expenditure have been increasing year on year. States addressed resources asymmetry, achieved fiscal consolidation by 2006, reducing fiscal deficit. But these values have been changed in this budget. So just like look on this, how much fiscal deficit is there in the states and in the center, it changes as year on year, right? So we are not focusing that. Just stop the video and you can research on what are the things that's going on. So, and what the challenge is, the revenue resources is very limited because when you take the tax base, only 5% of the people are paying the income tax. So, again the revenue resources are limited because our economy is more informal in nature, the Indian economy. So that is a one problem. And informal sector dominance, 85% is informal. The PSUs, or most of the PSUs, are running in the losses, in the revenue losses, and we are not able to utilize the human resources well. So there is infrastructure gaps, administrative inefficiencies there. So we are depending on external borrowings, and there is like environmental degradation going on. So because of that, there's a challenges like climate change and also the regional disparities. When you take the Tamil Nadu, Kerala, the Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana, so different places have different problems. Like Northeast have certain problems. They require certain, specific requirements. The east side, west side. So India has uh, diverse aspects for availing resources. So the needs are diverse. So diverse thing should be that. And also we are having low tax to GDP ratio. So only one pays tax for every 16 voters, and 6% contributes to income tax payments, and the gross tax to GDP ratio is like year on year. It is increasing, but it is not expected. Whereas in OECD countries, it was 34%, and in the emerging economics like Japan, China, Germany, and other countries, not Germany, so other countries, like emerging economics at 21%. So this can be written as a conclusion. So I just wrote it. India faces many challenges in resource mobilization. Maybe like from the structural issues in the tax system to the inefficient use of human and natural resources. Maybe addressing these challenges can improve the overall structure of the process. So why the low tax to GDP ratio? So GDP side, but the tax is when you compare with respect to GDP, it's very low tax to GDP ratio. Why is tax literacy and awareness? The people are not paying proper taxes, and people don't have that much awareness. And the complexity is also there in paying the taxes, etc. Now it's been decreasing day on day, but the awareness and because of the 140 crore population and all, and there is like black money, the problem of black money, large informal sector, and that is like tax evasion. So there is no proper data where the money is going. So again, the same reasons like low tax base, and our agriculture is sector is dominant, and agriculture there is no tax on land or the production. So there is a tax disputes between the authorities and payers, and the direct tax and indirect tax, the ratios are also not even. So when you compare India with OECD countries, India have direct tax of 35, if indirect tax is 65. Then, but direct taxes from OECD countries are more when you compare with India. And also, like the tax exemptions are there for the agriculture and MSME, for the new startups, for encouragement. We are not collecting that much taxes. There are tax exemptions. Uh, there is double taxation of earnings agreement. The subsidy system is, although it is converting into DBT, it is still inefficient in India. And also, there are like tax arrears are increasing day by day. They are mounting it up because many companies are in litigation. There are sick companies that is not able to produce the profits. And also there are again the regional disparities. So just like focus on the keywords so that you can sprinkle here and there while we are writing the answer. So lower per capita income, complex tax system, inefficient tax administration, we, and weak tax enforcement laws. So if you're not paying tax, and the fine and those things are very less. So people are not scared of paying taxes. So in this regard, so government have improved, have introduced many initiatives. One is GST, goods and service tax, LPG subsidy, viability gap funding, uh, consolidation of, like, previously there used to be separate railway budget. Now the railway budget is also included in the general thing. So they are restructuring the CSS. CSS, CSS, CSS. I forgot suddenly. So CSS, CSS, not this one. CSS restructuring. Okay, CSS is centrally sponsored schemes. Suddenly we forget sometimes. And also, like the encasing panel, they reviewed the FRBM. We need to rationalize the, like, government having to introduce the direct benefit transfer scheme, so rationalization of subsidies, uh, and also, so this is done. There is a Vivad Se Vishwas initiative by the income tax department. In if the people are, so that is like pending tax disputes, so they will reduce the tax, and in some or the other way they will be collecting the tax. So the people need to willingly come. So Vivad Se Vishwas will aim at doing that. And also nutrient-based subsidy scheme for fertilizers have been increased for environmental sustainability also. And phasing out fuel subsidies, like fuel subsidies are also being like rationalized day by day. And also PPP investment models, public-private partnership was also increasing, so that the pressure of the government will decrease and the efficiency will increase because private companies will also participate in that actions. So how we can do it better is suggestions for financial, for resource mobilization improvement. What we can do, firstly, we can financial inclusion by giving loans to the people, encouraging MSMEs, etc. So that we can also strengthen the capital markets and broadening investment channels means like private investments. Whatever we do, we need to do the like resources. Financial inclusion should be there, and maybe from PSUs we can use the cash reserves and for utilizing for the diversifying activities. Maybe like we can introduce new investment models apart from PPP and DPC, uh, so that we can increase the efficiency of the infrastructure projects. Maybe we can do by green bonds, infrastructure bonds, and social impact. Thus, we can create, and also a corporate social responsibility. Through this, also uh, we can improve certain like resources from the profits. It should give the CSR. A corporate social responsibility. Through that, it will give some 2% of from the profits. The company will invest in. It's a mandatory provision that the company should invest in, uh, like health or social activities. and we can streamline subsidies. And also, like if we can empower the local governments by collecting the taxes and fees at panchayat level, at grassroots level, so that will improve the resources mobilization there, and obviously it will lead to the development. So other things what we can do is tapping diaspora and resources through the sovereign funds, like digitalization of land records we can do, so that we'll be knowing how many acres the land is being cultivated, which type of crops are cultivated, and we can like nicely plan the agriculture related activity things, and so that it will improve the we can aid in the crop diversification. If data we can if we can able to collect the data well, then everything goes well. So those things we can do. And for as we are discussing about grassroots levels finances of panchayat, how it is, how the finances will come is, one is internal resource generation through taxes, through property tax, water tax, tolls, and also through the non-tax revenue like licenses, collecting fees for services, uh, charges for community assets like community halls, etc. From that we can generate the finance for panchayats. Panchayats also takes loans and borrowings, and like finances were given by State Finance Commission, Article 243I, and so Article 280, the Finance Commission will decide how much, based on the population, how much resources should be distributed. So what are the challenges is uh, the panchayats have very limited resources, so it is highly dependent on the grants from the government, from the state government as well as central government. But the problem is the disbursement of the funds are not properly happening, and there is weak internal resource generation, delay in fund transfer, and credit worthiness. Uh, like panchayat finance, when you collect, when the panchayat is trying to collect some finances, the credit worthiness is lacking there, and also the most of the times panchayat will depend on the political leadership, and if it is dependent on political leadership, the stability will not be that much guaranteed, and also inefficient collection. In many panchayats, there is still they are collecting the taxes offline, not online. So there is a lack of transparency and accountability. So poor financial planning, and the like educational requirements of the political. So the political leaders are also not educated well. So because of that, they lack the proper understanding about the resources utilization, and also because of the lack of digitalization, many villages still don't have the internet connectivity. So though it have internet connectivity, there is a problem in applications, in the mobile applications. So the final topic is what we can do to boost panchayat revenue. One is we can encourage MSME cooperative societies, uh, SHDs, self-help groups. We can do property tax reforms, like exploring additional revenue resources. Like for example, if in the village, if it is a tourism spot, then we can add local cess, and also through the solid waste management recycling we can generate, and also own water by establishing own water plant, own solid waste management thing, we can generate revenue. And also if the village having a river, or we can collect sand mining that way, uh, the resources can be generated for the panchayats, uh, and also like commercialization of panchayat owned fisheries or water plants or community halls, those things. In that way, we can like based on the resources availability of the village, we can boost panchayat revenue. So the main thing is encouraging MSCs, cooperative societies, and farmers because many villages in India have become self-sustainable because of these activities. This is the main point in this. So, so this is the final page for today. So we have covered the subtopics of we have covered three subtopics today in the resource mobilization. Next, financial aspects of ULB, urban local bodies. So one is tax revenue. They are coming from property tax and non-tax revenue from the rent, royalty, interest, etc., etc. So how we can improve is like PPP projects, property tax, because currently 50 to 60% properties are only assessed, remaining properties are not assessed. So we can improve the property tax data and then we can collect the taxes and improve the revenue. And also uh, efficiency. I mean, the problem is data is not available in urban areas. How many area is there? How much tax? How many people? So those numbers are missing. If the numbers are missing, then it will hamper the proper planning will not be there. So we can improve the planning thing related thing. So so these things can be done to improve the efficiency of ULPs. So all these topics today we have discussed. So this is the day one. So today we discussed the topics 81, 82, and 83. Tomorrow we'll be discussing the topics of growth and development. So topic number 84 and topic number 85. I've given numbering so that we can we can cover every topic in detailed manner. So day 81, 82, 83 is completed. The main task is to focus on those keywords and overallly if some question is being asked, then we can able to tell in number one, two, three, four, five, like that problems or anything. One, two, three, four, five. In the pointers, we can able to if we can able to say the keywords, then it is done. I wrote here circular economy because the questions these days the circular economy the term is very famous in the newspapers as well as the government is doing to do the circular economy. So I wrote just like to remember that it is important. So that's all for today. Tomorrow we'll be doing about the growth and development. Have a great day. Bye.